of the history of Paris. It's true that before the second half of the 19th century, it was absolutely filled with old medieval houses with beams, just like in Strasbourg. There were about 20 or 30 small churches on top of Notre Dame, and it was very charming, but everything was destroyed around 1860 and replaced by official public buildings, like this one on our left is the hospital. Behind it there's the headquarters of the firemen, and in front of us behind the trees there's the headquarters of the police. So 90% of the city island has been destroyed, and nowadays it's much more practical, but nobody lives here anymore. And but beside the Conciergerie Palace, where Marie Antoinette was taken, there is the court, which is also an official building. We're going to see it on the left, and the Sainte-Chapelle. Sainte-Chapelle is the second, well, the third medieval building that has been kept after the transformation of Paris, and that's the place where the holy relics of Jesus Christ were kept during the Middle Ages. I'm talking about the crown of thorns. It's right there on the right, Sainte-Chapelle and the court. So the crown of thorns of Jesus Christ, some pieces of the true cross, some nails of the crucifixion, and even some breast milk of Mary. So those relics were bought in Constantinople in the 13th century by the king, Louis IX. And actually, it's funny because when he first brought them back, there was no chapel for them. They were in the castle, and one day he decided to take them out for a ceremony, but he lost 2 nails of the crucifixion, and he was so worried that he decided to build a chapel just to exhibit those relics and to keep them safe. So the point of a relic is really that it has magical powers. So normally if you look at a very holy relic, or if you touch it, you can be cured if you are sick. So that was the whole point. So people were coming from all around the world to see those relics, and that's why France became a very rich and powerful kingdom at that time, because people who were coming from the world to see it had to pay for the tavern, had to pay for the restaurant, had to pay for the church to see the relics. So it was actually a good thing from the king to bring those relics, you know. It was not free, it was a calculation. You can see the spire on the right of the Sainte-Chapelle. Nowadays we still have those relics. They are kept in Notre Dame in the treasure. But I didn't tell you about it because anyway you can't see it. They are only exhibited once a year in Easter. And the crown of thorns is funny looking nowadays because all along the Middle Ages, each single thorn has been sold to the different princes of Europe. So nowadays you just have the branches. So you must be wondering, how do you know whether a relic is true? Well, the only way to know if it makes a miracle, then it is true. But if it doesn't make a miracle, that just means you don't have faith enough. So in a way, you could never be wrong. Now this building on the left is the Hotel of the Currency. This is where they make the coins. And this is where they make the euros, for instance. So you can visit it, but they don't give free samples. Everybody asks me. And we are driving along. We're going to see the Louvre. There it is on the right. Very, very large building. The beautiful Bridge of the Arts, linking the Institute on our left to the Louvre. The Bridge of the Arts is the most romantic bridge of Paris because that's the only pedestrian bridge. So that's where the people go in the summer to have a picnic, a bottle of wine, and you can listen to music. The lovers walk there and make out. It's really a romantic place. So if you ever come back, you should know where to come to. And this building on the left is the Institute, which means the headquarters of all the academies of France. So there's the Academy of Sciences, the Academy of Fine Arts, and the Academy of French. Basically, the Academy of French is supposed to watch and protect the French language. Among other things, you know, they publish a new edition of the French dictionary every year. So every year they are adding more and more English words because of informatics. And because of the media, we are using more and more English words. You should also pay attention to those little bookstores on the docks, you know, the green stands. They sell second-hand books about every subject. History, architecture, They have also foreign language books. They also sell old postcards for the collectioners. And it's a very special thing that has been here in Paris ever since the 17th century on special authorization of the Sun King, Louis XIV. It's quite special. So you can see the Louvre is still not finished. It's a very, very large building. It was first built in the 13th century to protect the city of Paris against the British invasions. And for a whole century it was never attacked. Therefore, in the 14th century, the kings decided to move to the Louvre because it was a safe place and to settle there. And king after king, they decided to add a wing here, a wing there, until it became so big. And finally, after the French Revolution, Napoleon decided to turn it into a museum in 1793. And now on our left, another quite famous museum, which is the Museum of Orsay. You can see on the top of the facade there are all the names of the cities of France: Orléans, Bourges, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Nantes, Angers, because it used to be a train station that was meant to bring the people inside Paris during the world fairs. We held a lot of world fairs where the new inventions and technologies were presented, and this train station was built for it. But it only worked for a few years, and after that the railway was